I'm not a 12-year Star Citizen veteran, and honestly, that's why this video hit me so hard. Because if someone who's loved the game for over a decade sounds this frustrated, we should probably listen. This video is titled, I Can't Be the Only One Who Feels Like This. Enough is Enough. Star Citizen 4.6 and 2006. For those of you that know, I just made a video on 2026 and how excited I am for 2026. I'm gonna be honest with you, this doesn't seem like he is very excited whatsoever. So I am going to see why. We're gonna listen. Now, my perspective is from a new player, a fairly new player who is still very excited about the game. And like I always say, I try to be the positive. I try to have a positive mentality most of the time about things. And I have a decent understanding of game development just from the side of being a QA tester and being paid to test from multiple AAA companies from start to finish on a few different games. So I have an idea and I get it. I get what the devs go through and I get how difficult it is to make a game nowadays. Now, that being said, I do not understand what you guys have gone through as vets. I do not understand that the frustrations that you've had because I just joined the game. So this is going to be a good kind of look into things. And I will give my straight on thoughts. This is Avenger One. He is a very skilled pilot in the game of Star Citizen. He's been around for a decade. And we're going to get his thoughts on why he's upset about 4.6 and about 2026 and why he's upset.
Well, if you clicked on this video, you're here for what I'm assuming is two reasons. One, you're either new to Star Citizen and you're like, what's this bearded bitch take on what's going on? Or you're a veteran like me who's been around for almost a decade now and are looking for some much needed dose of reality checks. Because CIG seems to be living in some universe that is devoid of logic, reason, and basic game design.
That's a real big hit at CIG. Okay. Okay. I will say that. Okay, I'll just continue. I have nothing right now. I have nothing.
Oh my God.
That was yeah. Okay.
The reason why I say this is going to be a bit of a different video, guys, and just bear with me here. I have been around this project since the very beginning in 2014. I remember the original Hangar module. If some of you folks who've been around for a while and some of you new folks, when the game first started on Kickstarter, all you could do was sit in your hangar and flip your helmet around.
What? So wait, were helmets physicalized back then? You could flip your helmet around. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, I didn't know. So I do know that it lasted it came out in 2012, but I don't know, was 2014 when they got the hangar? I'm curious. Sarge, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, sir. Greatly appreciated, guys. Show some love to Sarge in the chat, please. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. Much love to you, dude. I hope you're doing well on a Friday. Much love, man. Thank you. Anon says you only had the Horizon helmet and spacesuit. Yes. Okay.
That was all you could do for a year.
Wait, a year?
Until finally they gave us the Arena Commander module, which was the first iteration of the flight system.
Okay.
Back then they had different people working on these things. You had Calix Renault, and then after that you had John Pritchett. And it kept changing hands until eventually we have Yogi Klatt, who's the current flight model guy.
Okay.
And all throughout this time, the game had gone through big changes. 2.6 was really heavy on certain kinds of ways to fly. It was very compressed. It was kind of like Master Modes, but it played faster.
Okay.
Then you had the 2.0 era, 3.0 era models, different models, and then eventually you had the 3-ish, 3.5 to 10 era models, and then you had the 314 when it went to the flight model that I personally really enjoyed and where the majority of my YouTube content came from.
Okay.
And then eventually now into the Master Modes era. And all through that time, I've seen every iteration of the flight model, of different mechanics, of all these things that have been tried over the years. And it's been a ride.
It's been a ride. So I definitely hear a lot of I don't know, basically he's been through these things and he has one set one that he likes. And automatically in my head, I'm thinking, okay, if you really like that one and nothing is like that one that you liked, then everything else is going to be trash, in my opinion, right? Now I do know that we did make a video on the flight model and like what they're cooking up, and the flight model's been in the works and stuff like that. I don't know if he's a tester of the flight model. That's something I'm like wondering is like, do they have him under NDA for the flight model test? Because if he's making some sort of a video like this, knowing the flight model is going to get updated in the future, and he's upset, then that's not a good thing, at least in his perspective. But the thing that the first thing that comes to my mind, I want to be very honest, is I know he's very good at the game. The first thing that comes to my mind is like, and I don't know anything about the new flight model. I don't know. This is an assumption. I'm assuming that what they are going for is maybe more new player friendly or whatever, and he's not happy with it. But we'll kind of watch the rest of the video, obviously. But I feel like that kind of comes through in all the competitive games I've been involved with, Halo being one of them. The competitive community is very unhappy, but the mass majority of gamers are casual, and the casual audience is who needs to be the focus in order for a game to succeed. And we saw that with Halo Infinite. A lot of the pros are upset, but the casual players not upset. You know what I mean? And it led to a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway.
Right. With engineering that's come out,
okay,
it seems to me that we are in a very strange place with CIG and Star Citizen in general.
Okay.
And I'm kind of just putting my thoughts out there because I cannot be the only one who feels this way. Because after being around the project for a decade now, there are some things that CIG is still doing and they don't seem to learn, you know, like if you have a kid or if somebody is, you know, a friend of yours is doing something dumb over and over and over again, at some point you kind of sit there like, okay, what is going on here? So for you new folks who aren't really sure of what's going on, or you're kind of new to Star Citizen, CIG has been iterating on the game for a decade now.
Okay.
And
that's in-game development. That's normal. Yeah.
We have the same problems, just in slightly different ways.
Okay.
And what that means is multi-cruise ships, for you veterans out there, you know as well as I know that multi-cruise ships have always been bad.
Oh.
Always.
Okay.
They have been variations of bad throughout the last 10 years, but particularly now they are egregiously bad.
Okay.
Now, you know, I joke about this on stream sometimes, like I should have a bingo card for all the times I make a call and it comes true. And like I told, you know, people on my stream and on YouTube, and for you new folks, I called it. I said, Armor is not going to fix this problem.
Armor's not in the game. Stop, pause. Armor's not in the game. Armor is in the game, but Maelstrom armor is the armor, is actual armor. Isn't it? Am I wrong about that? I might be new. I might be stupid. But like armor's in the game right now, right? But isn't Maelstrom the way armor's supposed to be? This is like simulated armor, right? It's not like real. So like I don't know. You guys let me know. I want to read this message. Casuals are happy because players with skill are leaving so they don't look as dumb as they are. Perfect recipe to kill a game. Okay, I have something to say about that. Okay, I'm not going to go into my entire competitive history. Not doing that, but let's just say I'm a commentator. I've been in the competitive scene of Halo for a very long time, so I'm going to use that as an example because the competitive scene, I was in that for 2 decades, and you know this is where I pull this stuff from. The casuals are important, period. That does not mean you are completely devoid of understanding that the skill ceiling needs to be high. And that is a really kind of difficult thing to do, where we have what's called a skill floor. So for those of you guys that don't know, a skill floor is like, think of it like a platform to get onto something, right? So you're getting onto that platform. If the skill floor is too high and you have to like climb up on top of it, a lot of people will fail, right? But if the skill floor is low enough where anyone can jump on it, that's good. Now, the skill ceiling is how high or how good you can get at the game. That needs to be high as well. You need a low skill floor and a high skill ceiling. There needs to be both there, and that balance is very, very difficult to achieve in any video game. But like, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. If he's saying like CIG has been iterating for years, yes, like they kind of need to, because in my opinion, you have to find that balance, and it's really hard to do so. I'm not making excuses for them. I want to listen to the rest, and maybe I'll learn something here, but just want to, make that clear that casuals are very important. And by casuals, I mean players that, you just worked all day. You worked 8 hours. Shout out to the workers out there. And now you want an hour to play the game and have a good time, and you don't have time to practice. Like, you're just, you're not very good. You just want to have fun. They are important too. Very important. There needs to be both there. Okay. That is a very important thing. There needs to, if you're getting on this game and you're trash and you can't have fun because you're not good, because you don't have enough time to put in, that's not a good thing. And you'll say like, oh, just go PvE or go mine or whatever. No, guys. I mean, I think I'm not saying they should be good players. Again, you have a high skill ceiling, low skill floor. There needs to be a balance there. If a 1,000-hour player comes against me, he should win every time, period. End of story. You know what I mean? So that's like my thought on it. But again, I'm going to go into this more. These are just initial thoughts, and we're going to see what we got.
And it hasn't. Engineering is not going to fix this problem.
Okay.
And it hasn't.
Multi-cruise
We have
ships.
the very first iterations of engineering and armor systems.
Right.
And what we have found is they don't solve any of these issues with combat and the way the game plays.
Let's hear them out.
And I'm getting to the point as a fan over the last 10 years of like infinite frustration.
Okay.
I don't understand. And I want to be very clear here. This is not a bash CIG video. Like, there's plenty of...
You hit him kind of hard a couple minutes ago. You hit him kind of... They have no... I mean, okay. Anyway, let's continue.
ways to bash CIG. It's too easy, honestly.
Wow, okay.
That's low-hanging fruit, in my personal opinion.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not here to, reprimand...
I would not bash... Like, the thing I've always said, and this happened with Halo as well, this is my opinion. If you want a company, if you want your game that you love so much to succeed, I don't think bashing the company that's making your game is going to change anything. But again, I don't know his history. Maybe he's tried to talk to them in a kind way. They're not listening. I don't know. Let's listen.
Bash CIG. I do that enough.
Okay.
Right? But I'm genuinely here as a curious fan of the project.
Okay.
I want to know why. Why? Like, why are these problems still being unsolved?
So
why, after armor system is in, after engineering, it's the gameplay and the combat system worse now than it was years ago? Well,
because, okay, so again, new player here, could just pretend I'm ignorant. Just pretend that. Well, I am ignorant. My response to that question, he's talking about multi-cruise ships. My response to that, and this is from a new player's perspective, is that, and this is what I've learned, is that engineering, brand new system thrown in, it's tier 0, whatever, tier 1, whatever the heck it is, right? Doesn't have half of the stuff that you're supposed to have in it. If you read the engineering thing, there's a lot that goes into engineering that's not in engineering yet. So you're like, it's like a half-baked system that's just something that's like, it's like, new, and it's not necessarily done, obviously, not even close to done. I would say the same thing with armor. Like, Maelstrom's not in, armor's not necessarily done. The way I like to think of it, and I could be completely blind and completely wrong, okay? I'm just saying. The way I like to think of it is that CIG has a plan for all of this, and that the systems aren't complete, so it doesn't feel together yet, whereas, it feels very messy, and that's kind of what he's saying. Obviously, if you're going to involve a new system, things are going to feel like kind of crap. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. But like, there's a lot that's not done. Okay, so let's continue to listen though.
I mean, from my point of view, as a person who plays Star Citizen almost every day and who's been, I'd say, competent with the game's combat system since 2014.
I would agree. I watched him.
I've seen the game go through so many different variations. I've been good at all of them.
I agree.
And I have weighed my criticism in and said, you need to fix these issues when it comes to geometric issues, which for some of you folks that are new, I have a separate video that talks specifically about this issue. I'll link it here.
Oh, I would like to hear a little bit about it on this video, though. Geometric issues. Star Citizen Flight Crisis, let me explain. A message to Chris on combat. Okay. So these are videos that both got over 30K views, you would say, right? So I would assume CIG has watched them, I would assume. But I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have the context here, but hopefully he'll go into it.
So you guys can go check that out if you want to. But essentially, it's a deep dive, a breakdown as to why, single seat fighters are so dominant. They're so dominant,
yes,
right? And not just single seat fighters, but basically anything that's small and has guns.
Okay.
We have these massive ships now in Star Citizen.
Yes.
We have these incredibly high detail, high fidelity ships.
Okay.
And they're getting trounced on by like 2 Furies.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and 1000% agree. See, this is something that I haven't really experienced. Let's say you have an Idris. Every time I see an Idris, I run away because they're scary. But if you're a skilled pilot and you're in a Fury, you can take an Idris on. We did take an Idris on and make him fly away with the Guardian. But that's because he was a single-seater Idris. But if he had a crew like he's supposed to have, I don't think we would have done well. But let's continue here.
Now, if the argument against me is, if you go to Reddit and other places on Spectrum, which I'm sure you folks who've clicked on this video know, Avenger 1 is a very spicy topic for some.
Yes, every time I watch your videos, Avenger 1, I get lots of spicy comments in the chat, but I told them to be respectful. I don't have a problem with you. I like you a lot. I feel like you're a nice guy. I don't have any qualms. Let's continue.
People, because there's a lot of folks who either don't understand what I'm trying to say or just take anybody who's involved in player versus player and just lambast them as, they're the evil one, right?
Evil.
Now, if I wanted to maintain my advantage of being a fighter and being able to engage lots of these multi-crew ships, I would keep my mouth shut, because as of right now, any group of 2 or 3 fighters can basically kill any ship in the game. It just requires enough time.
But okay, chat, I'm gonna need you here, chat. You guys ready? Because you guys have been talking. I can't read your messages, it's too many. I'm gonna need you here. Okay, so when real armor, Anon, I'm looking at you. When real armor comes in, will that be possible? Anon. When real armor comes in, will that be possible? No. Anon says no. I trust Anon with a lot of stuff. Okay, Anon says no. So when Maelstrom comes, those 3 fighters won't be able to. That's what I'm trying to say. Again, we have systems that are not in. Yogi says no, so I believe that. Okay. So Yogi said no. Okay. The big ships will never hit a fighter, which is the main point. Well, how come? Are you saying as a solo? If you're a crewed Idris and you can't hit a fighter, it's time to go be a farmer on that Facebook game, whatever it's called. If none of you can hit the fighter. The way pips work and the way turrets work. Okay, wait, so now we're getting into that. Okay, let's continue here. Maybe I'm losing context, but in my mind, immediately, again, systems incomplete. Armor's not in the game fully yet with Maelstrom. It's going to be different. Maelstrom is a physicalized armor. It's physicalized, like it's an actual, anyway.
I can take a couple Gladiuses and fight an Idris easily and kill it. It's going to take an hour, but we have no problem doing that.
A fully crewed Idris? 2 Gladiuses can take a fully crewed Idris. If that's the case, even without armor, that's a problem. Because all armor is going to do is make it so that the Idris has more time. So it's going to take more than an hour. But if you can still do that, that's a problem. Okay, so there's our issue then. Our issue is, okay, so why? Now I need to know why. Okay, so the issue is that, a fully crewed Idris, he's not saying fully crewed Idris, which makes it weird. But I'm assuming a fully crewed Idris cannot take 2 Gladiuses out. That's not good. Is it because the Gladiuses are too fast or what? Let's see.
There are so many things, and that's just the most egregious example. I mean, if it's a constellation, I can solo it no problem with a fighter, even if it's fully crewed. Freelancers, Perseuses, basically anything size 3 is easily counter and killable by small fighters. Now, this is frustrating to me because why? Like, why? Why is it still like this?
we need to get this man a new camera, my friend. Okay, so turrets need velocity on their rounds to be faster. If you can't pit a PvP fighter from a turret, you're spending too much time looking at the pip. You got to look at the ships to predict their movement and shoot where you think they're going to go. Yeah, but that's really tough in a Gladius and an Arrow, for instance. They're very fast. I'm going to be honest, like, we haven't gotten to a lot of PvP. I remember one video we watched here on the channel. We actually reacted to it here on the channel. He wanted to cut down the range. Instead, he made a comment in the chat. I'm sorry I can't read all the comments, guys, but instead he made a comment in the chat about the fact that you can whittle down from a distance. And his thought process was that you need to make it so that bullets are not effective at range. Maybe armor will do that. But again, let's listen more.
You know, I've given the feedback. I've told CIG, like, these are the ways that you can fix this problem, and they don't want to do it.
Well, okay. Is this a communication issue? Is this him bashing CIG all the time? That's why they kind of just shrug him off. Again, like, relationships are so important. And I am not a shill for CIG. I just really love the game right now because I'm new. You could say I have rose tinted glasses on. Everyone knows it. I don't care. Life's too short. I would love to wear these glasses forever. I don't want to be exposed to whatever's going on. Please, if there is anything. But at this point, like, for me, if you talk to them, what was their response? I'm like, he's obviously a Ivocati member, I would assume. He's very good at the game. I would assume Yogi has talked to him before. Have they talked? You know what I mean? Have they talked? Based on their perspective, yes, they've tuned him out, mostly after the Space Tomato A1 and Yogi interview. Oh, no. What do you mean? Did something happen on that interview? Oh, that's... Yogi talked to him twice, but A1 always became frustrated and hostile. Okay, see? You're okay, if that's true. I don't know. I'm here. This is from the chat. If that's true, they're not going to listen to you, and they're not going to take what you have to say seriously, ever. There's got to be respect there. The developer needs respect, and you need respect. Like, you guys both have to have respect for each other. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, let's continue. Sorry.
I don't know what to do anymore. You know, do I just stand back, keep my mouth shut, and be like, it's fine, and just watch the product get worse over time? Do I make more YouTube videos kind of calling these things out like I've done?
I want to say that listening to him, I don't know him. Listening to him, there's passion there because he makes a good point. He is a fighter pilot. I see him in an Arrow all the time, and he's calling for these things to be changed. And he's not a player who sits on a capital ship. So, like, in my mind, he doesn't win here. He just wants the game to be better. So, like, maybe the frustration with Yogi is because he really wants the game to be better, and maybe he thinks Yogi doesn't understand him. I don't know. I would love to mediate that. Like, I'm pretty decent at that. But it seems to me, listening to this video, that he truly wants this to improve, and he's not gaining anything by it improving. He's losing by it improving, if that makes sense.
Which just goes ignored by CIG. I don't know what to do here, guys. Like, as a creator, and this is why the video is titled, like, I can't be the only one who feels this way, because as a fan, I continue to play the game, I continue to support it, and yet the game's getting more arcadey. It's no offense, it's getting dumber. You can see the game pushing more towards this arcadey, low intelligence, kind of like just plug in, punch a couple buttons and get her done.
Again, there's got to be a skill floor and a skill ceiling here. It's very important. You cannot, no matter how much you want to, I mean, you can ignore the people that don't have a lot of time to play the game. I'm not saying you can't. You can. Escape from Tarkov does it. There's lots of games that do it. You can do that. I don't think the CIG wants to throw that entire pool of money away, because that's what you'd be doing, right? So yeah, what I'm hearing a lot is, and this is what I'm hearing from the chat, okay, is that Avenger One, I don't know if you're watching this, but it's that you have very good points. You basically understand what you want, and what you want is valid, but the way you come across talking about it is very I don't know the word for it, but it's not taken well. So the only way to change that is to put your passion aside for a minute. And I went through this with Halo Infinite so many times. You got to put your passion aside while still being on fire for the game, and just find a different way to say it. So far, this video has been a great thing so far. But again, in this video, I hear a lot, bash CIG, ignored by CIG. I bash CIG all the time. I get ignored by CIG all the time. Those two things, like, if I'm CIG, if I'm a developer who deals with this stuff on a daily basis from people who don't even understand the game, like, or don't understand game development in any sort of way, complete opposite from you. If they deal with that all day, they're not going to want to deal with it again from people that, know the game. So I get it. Maybe coming about it a different way. I don't know. Let's continue.
The events that are coming out, like a lot of you folks, for you new folks here as well.
That's me.
The events that CIG runs have basically been the identical events. They've just been on a 3-cycle rotation. So, if it's either a box mission stuff that we're doing, it's just different variations of the exact same event.
I will agree with that. The events, I will say one thing has improved with this event. It does feel a lot more fun, and it is very rewarding. So those are two things. Again, I'm not going to go back to the Skeleton Crew thing, but like they're like an MMO is a very, very big project, and I don't want to keep saying this, but I have to. Everyone was working on Squadron, and they don't put that stuff out there for people to know about, but they have, I believe. Anon said they'd have mentioned that. They didn't have a lot of people working on Star Citizen. And I would assume with more people working on it this year that things will start to change. Anon says the reason for this is because they want to test out the fixes they implemented for the freight elevators after the last event actually hold up under pressure. Again, Anon's a Crytek dev, by the way. That's why he used to be a Crytek dev. That's why I kind of take his stuff. Like, I don't want to give him a big head because his head is freaking ginormous already. But I like to listen to him because he kind of understands what's going on behind the scenes to a certain extent. So if that's the case, if they want to like try to test the freight elevators to make sure the changes that they made work, that's good. But I do agree that they are very repetitive, and they can be a little more creative with how they test those elevators, whether it be cargo or not. I feel like some things have been added here, like my favorite gameplay loop, killing a ship, looting it, taking the loot out and delivering it. I love that. They added that. So that's cool. But
just done over and over and over again. There's no depth to it. There's no, assuming they even work in the first place, which a lot of us know.
It's working.
They don't.
It's work, guys. Has anyone had any problems with freight elevators this patch? I'm gonna be honest. I have no problems. Maybe I'm the only one. I've had no problems at all. You have. Okay, well, I guess maybe I'm the only one. Okay, I've lost items. Oh, yeah. At the start of the patch. Yeah, the start of the patch was terrible. I'm talking like today. One small issue where a box disappeared. Okay. The whole thing people forget or ignore is that we're literally testing a game. Yes, that's what I'm saying, guys. Guys, I'm going to be honest. Have you ever been QA? Like, QA usually get paid to test a game. We're paying to test this game. Some of you, thousands of dollars. Javelin owners, raise your hand. And Idris owners. But yeah, like we're testing a game in development. Like, again, GTA, it's been in development for a very long time. None of you are testing it. None of you see the development process, but it's gotten delayed 4 times in a row. So you got to think about that. In the next patch, you'll have the elevator problem back. Oh, man, I don't want to get into a defend CIG rant here, man. Game development is hard, guys. When you fix one thing, 10 things break. It sucks. It sucks. That's why I didn't do it. That's not an excuse for them. It sucks, but it's part of it, We all want the same thing, right? We all want the dream game that we dreamed of when we were kids. We all know the potential. That's why you're watching me. That's why you spent money. We all know, right? But it takes time. I know it's taken a lot of time so far. Good things take time.
And again, this is not me complaining. These are valid criticisms.
Okay.
From my point of view, I am a fan of the product. I love Star Citizen. I want to see it be successful.
Okay.
But how can it be successful if the very nature of the game itself is so poorly designed, not implemented, not coded? There are very skilled people who work for CIG.
Agreed.
But I'm talking design. Like the design of how the ships fight and interact with each other is the very reason why it can't seem to hold much of a multiplayer player base when it comes to actual combat and PvP. You know, the only folks that are left playing in the online universe are people that don't want to do nothing with other people except for maybe one or two of their friends, and people that want to just do basically a single player game in a multiplayer environment. So who did we make server meshing for? If most people just want to do box runs and fly around, because again, what I was saying before, the actual people that want to stick around for flight combat and to actually get invested in the game can't hold those people because it just sucks. Like it's just poorly designed. Like the game is just poorly thought out. It doesn't work for multiplayer. It just doesn't work. It's clunky. It's fucked up. There's like really egregious metas. Most ships within the, I guess you could say, the library of ships are obsolete or not effective against a very small percentage of highly effective meta ships.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with that. Again, just to be very clear, I've been around. I went really hard since August, so I've been full-time content Star Citizen since August. Played a little bit before that. I will say, I've dabbled in PvP a lot. Like I say, dabbled a lot, but that's the best way to say it. There are meta ships: Arrow, Gladius, Hornet. Like, yeah, there are meta ships. But anyway, let's continue.
So what this happens is 90% of your ships that you pay real money for are basically a gimmick, because the guy that flies one of the top 5 ships is just going to shit all over you. So
I still think there's a really big skill gap there, though. I don't agree with that. Virgil can get in a freaking, I don't know, a snub fighter and destroy me. No, like I have no chance. But yeah, there will always be a meta regardless of the game. That is the nature of MMOs. Unfortunately, in this day and age, metas are the nature of MMO. And I don't think like balance. Okay, so if I'm really thinking about balance, like if I'm a game developer, right, and I'm thinking about balance right now, right? If I'm thinking about balancing a game right now without like what 75% of the systems in place, I'm wasting time. Am I right or wrong? If I'm balancing the game right now in its current state, when I literally don't have half the systems I'm supposed to have in the game, I'm wasting time. That is developer time wasted, in my opinion. You do soft balance, you get like, little soft balances here and there, little things tweaked here and there. They're doing that. But like full on balance every single ship, I why? For what? Then you got to do it again. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And the whole flight model thing, I know a new flight model is coming, but like he hasn't spoken about the new flight model. Maybe it doesn't change much. I don't know. I'm not sure like where this is headed, because I'm assuming he's an Evocati member. He's tested the new flight model and all that, but he still is not happy. So I don't know. Really. Yeah.
It's like you have all these compounding factors, which ultimately at its core lies at the fundamental game itself. It's the design of the game. If the design of the game was better and fixed these geometric issues, which we talked about before, and some of these game design issues, which are based around multiplayer,
Nordic, that's
then
awesome.
You'd have a larger community of PvP players.
His dog is not happy right now. I got to back up real quick. Hold on one second.
Do it before. Okay. And some of these game design issues, which are based around multiplayer, then you'd have a larger community of PvP players. You'd have a more healthy player base, because people would actually want to stick around, because playing and flying and investing your time into actually like learning how to play and fly these ships is an enjoyable experience. You know,
Okay.
I can't be the only one who feels this way, but the player base for Star Citizen are usually men between the ages of 21 and 60. Like, that is the demographic
It's true.
of players who play Star Citizen.
25% of my YouTube audience is over the age of 45. 45 to 60 years old. 25%. Hi, guys. Any retirees out there? Hello. One day I'll be retired, but probably not by that time. Yeah.
Most of us have careers and jobs. We have to have an expensive computer to even play Star Citizen. So no offense, but we're not getting the Zoomery kind of Fortnite kids wanting to play a game like Star Citizen. So the game...
We don't want those kids. Keep them on Fortnite, man. I don't want no Fortnite kid building in front of me, dude. Imagine like Fortnite kids playing this game. They all have tractor beams and like they build a big metal box around their friend and you have to like jiggle peek them or something. Like, dude, I don't know. Keep those kids there, man. Please. For the love of God. I like my little game. Okay. Not that I don't want it to grow, but I like my mostly mature game, please. No Halo kitties. Excuse me, Caldrick. Don't you ever.
is made for, you know, wealthy middle class individuals. I hate to say it, because you need a high quality computer, which means you got to be making money to even play Star Citizen. So why?
Optimization is the last thing in development. You never optimize a game during development because, again, you add systems and then you have to optimize again. So the game is not optimized because the game is still adding. Okay.
Why are we moving the game towards this like low intelligence, like super angsty, everything has to be fast, less immersive, less deep, less simulation based experience on the account of, oh, we want to attract like a new fan base? Is that what's happening?
I don't think so.
I can't be the only one who feels this way. Like, it feels to me like they are intentionally gimmicking the game for whatever reason. I don't know whether it's, again, a leadership issue, but it really feels that way for me. So anyway,
Yeah, I mean, so far in this video, I just, systems are not good. Just, I don't know, man. There's no iteration on anything that's being said. Like, he mentions in the video a lot, as a new player, you should understand this, but I don't understand anything still. Like, I still don't see it. I still, like, yeah, game design is bad, but what do you mean? What is bad about the game design? New flight model's not in. Maelstrom's not in. Like, there's so much that's not in. When I play this game, the reason I love it is because of what it will be. If I only, and I've said this before, if this was the game that I was going to play the rest of my life, I wouldn't play it. I mean, I would, but not a lot. Like, what makes me love this game is what I currently get to do and knowing what I will be able to do. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. He did the same for more than 10 years. Right. But for those 10 years, you had 200 out of, first of all, no, like probably 100 developers out of the 1,000 that they have now. I just made a video about this, working on Squadron. So you had a skeleton crew doing everything. What are you going to do with a skeleton crew of developers on an MMO? So like so we'll finish this video, but like my biggest thing for me to him is like, you know, and this is where my opinion lies, like 2026 is the year Squadron's done. It's been polished for 2 years now, being polished for 2 years. They're still polishing it. They're still trying to get rid of bugs. They're still making it, you know, ready for launch this year. But, you know, I would assume a lot of the members have switched over now. So like 2026 is the year that we need to like look at and say, okay, how are they doing this year? You know, if they do terribly this year, then we have a little bit of an issue, in my opinion. If they do terribly this year, then we have an issue. But again, like Squadron has been the focus this entire time. Now the Squadron's releasing, you have to, like, in your head understand that things are very much so going to change, no? Agreed or no? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. That's the way I'm looking at it.
I mean, I have so much more to say, but I just wanted to touch on these issues.
No, you need to say it, man. See, let me tell you something. Like, you've already got this reputation or whatever, but why not just say everything? If there is something that you say, regardless if someone likes you or not, if there is something that you say and it is literally like CIG's like, oh, wait, that's a pretty good idea. Regardless if they don't like you or not, they're going to do it. You know? Just say it. Talk away. And I'm going to tell you, like, you know, get it off your chest too and make you feel better. Obviously, like, again, I don't, and I've said this before, guys, I want to be clear. Like, I'm ignorant to the frustration of long-term vets. I'm ignorant to the frustration. I do not understand because I've not been around that long. If in 10 years from now, wait, I don't have that much patience. Okay. If in 3 years, things are still broken, I'm in FPS and people are desyncing around me and I'm having and Squadron's been out and all the developers are on Star Citizen and we're not getting content and all of this stuff is broken. Yes, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be frustrated. That's when I'll raise a concern. But like, again, Squadron 42 being done and the developers shifting over is the big thing for me. Let them cook. I'm going to be honest. Let them cook. You like a lot of the people on Reddit, a lot of the people in chat. I've skimmed some messages. You're an armchair dev. You don't understand game development. Trust me, you don't. And you just got to let them cook.
To see, just kind of get a sense of folks. I kind of want to put a petition together and see how many people want to sign it. Now, hold on. Before you start making memes, A1's going to make a petition. And for you new folks that are still here,
I'm here.
Congratulations. It means that you're actually spending time to learn and understand what the game that you're getting into is all about. Star Citizen could be the greatest game that has ever been made.
I agree. See, he's passionate. Look at his eyes. You can see the fire in there, dude. If I had an editor, I'd put fire in his eyeballs. You definitely, like, you can see it. I get it. And I agree. If you agree with that statement, type 1. It really could be. And we won't see that until CIG have time to cook with the full development team. Okay. There's a lot of new people in the chat, so let me put this into perspective. Okay, you ready for this? For the people that are my regulars, you've already heard this 10 million times. I'm going to say it again. Just close your ears. Shut up. My alarm went off. Okay. Kids are not home, so I don't have to. Okay. So, do you know that GTA 6 has 7.7 thousand developers working on that game? Did you know GTA 6 has a square kilometer size of 250? Do you know Daymar alone has a 1 million square kilometer size? It's bare and empty. Yes, that's the point. There's a lot of development that needs to happen, but like we're talking about very different things here. When you don't have developers to work on an MMO, you're not going to be able to get a lot done. If they still suck after this year, I'll probably say something. If nothing happens over this year, I'll say something. If nothing happens over 2028, I'll say something. 2027, I'll say something. Like if Squadron's out and nothing's happening still, I'll say something. But again, I just want to let them cook. You know what I mean? Like let them do their thing. Now that they have developers that will be working on the PU, let them do it and then see what's up, you know?
I guarantee that. It has the potential to be that, right? Now, what it is right now and what it is turning into, it seems, is a very far shot away from being even somewhat close to that dream of being the best game that we ever wanted.
It's very biased though, like that comment, because it's what you're upset about is literally it's an important aspect to the game. I will say it's important, but it's only one aspect of the game, PvP. Like, I don't think we're putting everyone in the picture here, right? There's a lot more to the game than PvP. I love PvP, and I am a PvPer. I love it so much. But there's also a lot more to it too, you know?
You know, I want to see how many other folks out there feel the same way as I do, right? This video's already gone on too long. These
I don't
are just
think so.
my raw.
You need to make an hour-long video. I will watch it. You need to make an hour-long video talking about this topic and going into depth, in my opinion, about what systems are broken and what's wrong and all of that. Like, organize an entire list of things. In my opinion, it's so important, dude. I value what he says, and I don't have any qualms against him. So, like, I would love to hear his thought process. And I know he probably has other videos, but it would be nice to have it in one concise video so that I can understand. Because there's just like, there's too much. Like saying like this game design is bad, but then not going into it. I don't know what that means. I will watch the geometry video as well, but I don't know what that means at the end of the day, you know? So
Raw thoughts. If you still, if you feel this way as well, share the video with somebody else. Join us on stream at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. On Twitch, and, make your voice get heard.
Okay.
And put your opinion in there.
I like that. It's good. It's important.
I and a lot of people, and maybe a lot of you folks watching this video too, are kind of burnt out. We're kind of sick of the gaslighting from community managers like Jared.
We have to stop. Okay, no, you don't have to stop anything. Anyway, okay,
we're kind of sick of getting lied to. I think a lot of us are just sick and tired of the bullshit.
Okay,
we want to see progress. We want to see these things getting fixed. We have armor. We have engineering.
We don't have armor. Engineering's not even close to done. It's tier 0. Both of them are tier 0.
And stuff still feels the same, like I told you guys it would, because it doesn't solve the core issue, which is the actual design of the game. The way the weapons interact, the way the ships and ranges interplay with each other. Okay, so ranges, weapons interaction. Don't know what weapons interact means, but the low speed of the ships, all these things filter into this issue, right? So, but if you don't feel this way, that's okay too. If you like the way the game is going and you're like, this is so much better, that's great. I know there's some folks out there that like it, and that's totally fine. I'm not taking away from that. I had to voice these things out because I'm kind of, like I said, I'm getting to that point where I just don't care anymore. I want change. I want to see progress.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest, so this is Avenger 1, guys. I'll link the video here. I want to be honest, watching that entire video, this is coming from a new player's perspective, so maybe that's the case. I'll link it to you guys. Watching that video, coming from a new player's perspective, I didn't learn anything. It was a lot of ranting about, and this is no offense to him, I'm not being rude or anything. It was a lot of ranting about nothing. I don't understand, saying watch my other video and stuff like that. That's I don't have this right here. So this is what he's talking about, I guess. Okay, so there we are. The 2 videos right here. We'll watch this one next. But yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. He didn't go into depth on the things. I would love him to make a long video that explains everything. So if armor is in place, right? If armor is in place, and I have a question. This is a question because Anon, I have no idea, was reverted. The only reason I can think of is them going back to adding more spread instead of the range limit. Okay, so here's my question. If armor is in place, didn't they mention multiple times? No, maybe not multiple times. I remember hearing this, that the closer you are. No, I don't think that's true. Does distance have anything to do with real armor, like Maelstrom armor? Does distance of a ship or distance of bullets, travel distance, have anything to do with armor? Yes, it will. Hi. Guys, hello? Right? Am I stupid? That's a pretty big deal, no? So what are your thoughts on this video? Obviously, we came to a conclusion that Maelstrom Armor is not in the game, along with a lot of other systems, and of course, the new flight model. And I think maybe this frustration is unwarranted, but do you think the same? I'm curious your thoughts, unbiased thoughts, of course, regardless of what you think of whoever. I think it's important that we come to a conclusion here, but what are your thoughts on this? Personally, for me, I think that it's due to Maelstrom not being in the game, and obviously things will be a lot different when that happens, but maybe I'm just a player with rose-tinted glasses that thinks the entire game is amazing with no flaws. Who knows? Thank you again for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, God bless, and I will see you in the next video.